I was going to give a lecture and talk about something specific, something spiritual, something uplifting. And I'm always brought back to what people ask for. People really like my stories. And so I've kind of veered off that the last several YouTube videos, and I've done basically a sermon or a homily on certain aspects of spirituality and life. But today I'm going to tell a story. It's a story that has a beginning that's kind of odd, but ends up telling me that my prayers were answered eventually. There is no time limit for prayers. When you pray for somebody, you give that to the universe, you give it to God. And like the scriptures say, or like the philosophy books say, when the student is ready, the prayers will appear for them and help them, right? So it's all about when these people that you're praying for are ready to receive. So back in the late 80s, boy, it sounds like a long time ago. And I was mentoring a foster kid that was in a group home, and he was a troubled kid. He'd been through a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and I was his mentor. And I was away on a business trip in Washington, D.C., and the boy got kicked out of the group home that he was in. And this was like, I don't know, over a dozen group homes he got kicked out of for his behavior and his attitude. And basically, at 17 years old, he was being kicked out of foster care system. They had no place to put him. And so he asked my wife, because he knew her when I used to bring him around when I was mentoring him, if we would take him in. So she gave him her word, yes, we'll take him in and everything. Of course, this is unofficial foster child. There's no money from the county. There's no support of any kind. You're totally on your own. You're paying for everything. And that wasn't a problem for us. But he came in and I told my wife, I said, I know you gave your word and we're going to abide by that because I think that's important. And you love this child and we're going to give him love and we'll do what we can for him. I said, but he's a thief and he lies. And it's going to cause us some trouble down the road. Well, it turned out after us helping him for a long period of time that him and another ex-foster buddy of his broke into our house. Well, they didn't have to break in, they just had to walk in. And they robbed my wife and my daughter, their jewelry, you know, rings and necklaces and things like this, and precious stones, and took some buck knives from me and some valuable stamps and from my stamp collection and some other items. And we found out that it was him and his buddy, and we retrieved a couple of the items that he'd given to his girlfriend. He never owned up to it, kept saying he bought them, that they looked exactly like, no. So over the years, after that, we were trying to help him keep him out of jail. He ended up in several jails in the area, county jail, city jail. And then he moved to Florida and then he was in Texas. And when he was in Texas, he was stealing cars, taking them to Mexico, and ended up getting caught doing hard time for a couple, 2 or 3 years in Brownsville. I think that was the name of the jail. And that's the last we basically heard from him. He was someplace and he was coming and going, and we stopped communicating. But I never, ever, ever stopped loving him, never stopped praying for him, never stopped sending him whispers of love and peace and good thoughts and wishing the best for him. In my mind, I still saw this 17-year-old young man. And then last year, 2023, I believe, December, I hear a knock on my door. This is just a few days before Christmas. And I open the door. There's this 50-some-year-old man and his wife standing at the door, and I recognize his voice, and he introduces himself, and it's this young man that we used to take care of. And I invited him in. We hugged and everything. And he was living in Arizona, had a house and had a family and beautiful wife, and everything was going well. And he just brought his wife by to introduce him to somebody that he felt he needed to say thank you to, and she needed to meet. And so um, it was a perfect gift for me for Christmas, because I've been praying for him for 30 plus years. And there he was at my doorstep just before Christmas. And he was thanking us for all that we've done for him. So when you pray for somebody, don't set a deadline. All time is now, right? No prayer is ever wasted. No love ever goes unredeemed at some place in time. All love is a gift somebody will open someday. And this is a case where decades went by, where the young man was a teenager and he comes back in his 50s just to say thank you. He could feel that love. And he realized all the good that we were doing for him when he was here. So next time somebody betrays you, something happens, and people leave and leave your life, and you have situations, pray for them. Truly pray for them. Send them love. Never, ever, ever give up. No time limit for miracles, no time limit for prayers being answered. So anyway, if you like this story, the message of the story, hit subscribe, ring the little bell so you're reminded when another thing comes up, and hit thumbs up for me. Anyway, God bless. Thanks for listening, and pray for somebody today. God bless.